We're just gonna give it a moment and let the waiting room clear. Please make sure you're muted as you enter.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Looking forward to talking with everyone tonight.
Again, just make sure you're muted unless you're presenting. All right, we're gonna get started. Good afternoon. This is a hearing before the Boston Cannabis Board, the BCB. Today is December 11th, 2024. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. This is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chairwoman of the Boston Cannabis Board. Today I'm joined by Commissioner Lisa Holmes, Commissioner Gabriel Camacho, Commissioner Ramon Soto, and Commissioner Sonal Gandhi.
Thank you, Chairwoman Joyce. My name is Jasmine Nguyen. I am the Boston Cannabis Board Manager. We are also joined by Luke Santos, who is our Cannabis Licensing Specialist. I will begin by calling each item in the order they appear on the agenda. We have one amendment to an already approved license and two new license applications. The license for the amendment will have 5 minutes to present to the BCB, followed by questions and comments from the board members. We will then move to our new license applications. The applicants will each have 10 minutes to present to the BCB, followed by questions and comments from the board members. We will then take public testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives, followed by the general public. If you wish to testify, please sign up via the link that will be put in the chat. If you already signed up, you do not have to do it again. Additionally, you may use the chat function to request to testify as well. Please wait until the matter in which you would like to speak about is called in order to testify. Do not use the chat function to give testimony. It will not be considered. Please state your full name, address, and affiliation, if any, when giving testimony. Testimony will be limited to 2 minutes each, at which time you will be muted. Additional testimony can be submitted in writing to cannabisboard@boston.gov. The record will be kept open until Tuesday, December 17th at 5 p.m. The BCB does not give any more weight to spoken testimony than it does written testimony. The first item we have, the applicant is Silver Therapeutics, Inc., DBA City Farm. The license premise is 717 to 727 American Legion Highway, Rosendale. The license type is a co-located recreational retail, medical, manufacturing, and cultivation license. And the request is for a change of beneficial interest. The licensee seeks for approval from the BCB to acquire additional investors and to redistribute the ownership interest in the entity. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Hi, Maggie Roberts with Principal Bell here on behalf of the licensee. Today, like you said, we're requesting approval for a change in beneficial interest to accommodate some additional investors and redistribute ownership interests to support current operations and future growth. The primary leadership team will retain majority ownership and operational control, collectively holding just over 72%. Again, this is a minor corporate reorganization to secure additional capital. There's no changes to operations. The CCC approved this on October 10th, 2024. I'll pause there and I'll happy to answer any questions if there's any.
Thank you, Maggie. Commissioner Chairman Joyce, do you have any question?
So just to confirm, the new ownership will be 28%. The majority still remaining at 72. That hasn't changed.
I believe yes, that's correct. I believe the three people on the ownership team, they'll retain majority ownership, but it slightly changed a little bit.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thanks.
Commissioner Holmes? Commissioner Camacho?
No questions?
Commissioner Gandhi,
No questions.
Commissioner Soto.
No questions.
All right. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak on this matter? All right, seeing no one, the board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're now going to move to our new license applications. The first matter we have, the applicant is Zeb Boutique LLC. The proposed license premise is 1524 to 1526 Dorchester Ave in Dorchester. They are applying for a retail recreational cannabis dispensary license. The proposed hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. This is a non-equity applicant. They filed the application on October 29th, 2024. They filed with Inspectional Services on October 18th, 2024, and they held their community meeting on November 21st, 2024. Who is present on behalf of licensee?
Hi, my name is Judith Ledbetter. I'm here on behalf of the licensee.
All right, you have 10 minutes. You can share your screen and begin.
Second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Good afternoon, Chairwoman and distinguished members of the Boston Cannabis Board. My name is Judith Ledbetter. I'm the CEO of Zeb Boutique LLC. Thank you for the opportunity to present our proposal again before the board for a retail cannabis dispensary at 1526 Dorchester Avenue in Dorchester. Today, I'll just be highlighting our robust plans to bring Zeb Boutique to the community and to ensure that we're meeting the city and the board's expectations. Zeb Boutique was founded in 2023. It's majority owned by women and first-generation immigrants. Our leadership team consists of 2 Boston Latin School graduates that together bring over 40 years of combined professional experience. Our commitment as good neighbors and exemplary business owners is to create a trusted space for cannabis education, to help erase the stigma and offer an upscale shopping experience. Our foundation is built on integrity, financial stewardship, and social equity and justice, which we believe makes us an asset to any community in the city of Boston. Our mission is really to create an education-driven retail space that showcases plant-based wellness products, empowering the community to thrive. We prioritize community empowerment through education and advocacy with a steadfast commitment to social equity and justice. Every decision that we make is guided by these values. Our leadership team is myself. I was raised in the city of Boston. Leslie and I were both raised in the city of Boston and graduated from Boston Latin School together. I obtained my degree from Boston College and have been a registered nurse for over 20 years and have a deep-rooted passion for community health through education. Leslie is a 20-year technology professional and engineer. She attended Stonehill College locally as well and has a majority of her experience in highly regulated markets. She brings expertise of strategic planning and is a longtime real estate investor as well. We both discovered the plant as adults and as mothers and as professionals and had a really difficult time navigating the learning piece of consumption, which is an experience that informs our business plan and our vision for helping people define their own plant-based wellness journey. So together we lead with purpose and we want to meet the needs of our communities. Justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion are the cornerstone of our operations. Our hiring goals ensure 51% of our workers will be BIPOC, 51% of our women, and include residents of Dorchester, especially those individually impacted by marijuana prohibition. We will establish a Justice, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee within our company to monitor our diversity metrics, conduct annual staff surveys, and provide quarterly reports to the community. Transparency and accountability will be central to fostering a culturally competent and inclusive workplace. In terms of our location, that's actually my next slide, so I apologize. Consistent hiring and the way that we're going to measure this will be to ensure that we have about 3 to 5 representatives from the staff join this committee and really start to collect anonymous information and have staff engagement events and ensure that we're doing education not only internally but also in the community. The key metrics that we be reporting will be like the demographics of our staff to ensure that we're meeting our diversity goals, retention activities and statistics, as well as progress in any of the goals that the committee sets forth. In terms of our location, it's 1526 Dorchester Avenue. It fully complies with zoning laws. It is more than 1 mile from other dispensaries and maintains a 500 feet distance from schools, treatment centers, and social service centers. Our hours of operations would be Sunday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. In terms of access to public transportation, Fields Corner Main Street is a vibrant commercial district with high pedestrian activity. Our site is accessible to the public by MBTA Fields Corner Station and offers over 15 private spaces to ensure convenience for our customers for parking. We also have an additional parking lot that we can rent that has another 10 parking spaces if parking were to become an issue. In terms of customer engagement, this has always been a priority for our team, that our customers are respectful to all the community members. So upon their first visits, community customer agreements will need to be signed to ensure that people are not only educated on how to handle their product and their consumption, but also are aware of our zero tolerance policy that addresses public consumption, loitering, littering, and other nuisances. These measures maintain the safety and order and quality for the community. Our employment plan prioritizes hiring Boston residents with a focus on individuals from communities disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs. We're collaborating with reentry programs and offering starting wages of $18.50 an hour, alongside with benefits and growth opportunities. Staff will also receive paid time off to volunteer for work and professional development, ensuring a workforce that is not only skilled but also engaged in giving back to the community. We have received letters of support from our city councilors, Fitzgerald, Worrell, and Pippin, as well as our at-large city councilors, Mejia, and our at-large city council president, Louis Jean. We have support from the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. We've been collaborating and having conversations with Fields Corner Main Streets. We've introduced ourselves to Fields Corner Civic Association and attended their meeting and are on the agenda for their next meeting as well, and have begun conversations with the president for the project for Little Saigon as well, to ensure that we're engaging all the members of that community. We are committed to ongoing dialogue and collaboration with local groups. It is at the cornerstone of our business model to be educating the community, so we want to continue to do that. Our security plan complies with the state laws. We've also partnered with Cure 8 to implement industry-leading security measures that includes 24/7 surveillance, motion detection cameras, and access-controlled entries. Strict ID verification will prevent youth access, and loitering will be addressed proactively by our concierge team. Our operations adhere to the guidelines, and we want to make sure that we're being very careful about diversion of any product internally or externally. We want to make sure that this is an adult-only retail space, that you have adult IDs to enter the space. Transportation and delivery of product will be based on the law. We will be using a CCC certified transportation and delivery company. The transportation of monies will also be delivered by a courier company that is certified by the state. And we will have metrics, seat to sale tracking system, and have strict inventory controls to ensure that we don't have any diversion. In closing, I'd like to say that Zeb Boutique is poised to bring in equitable opportunities and transformative education to Fields Corner. Our commitment to compliance, safety, and diversity makes us an ideal partner for this community. We thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration of our proposal.
Thank you, Drew. We will move to questions and comments from the board members, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. So I think your butters meeting was last month. Can you just tell me a little bit about any comments or concerns the butters may have had?
Absolutely. I think the majority of the concern was around Well, initially they didn't know who we were. They thought that we were a group that had previously been there, which we've had different conversations about. But I think the concerns were about the proximity to the temple, existing loitering that is happening across at the park and across where Barney Stone used to be. And they were just concerned that the existing problems would be amplified by our presence.
Okay. And okay, appreciate that. I'm going to turn it over to the other commissioners. Commissioner Camacho, do you have any questions?
Yes. Your starting wage is $8.50. How many full-time and part-time employees will you start your operation?
So we're actually still working through the staffing plan, and it would be actually 1850, which is above industry standard. I come from nursing leadership, so staffing was like kind of a trick game. We do it based on volume. We understand that now dispensaries don't have lines waiting outside. They actually have a ramp up period to really build their clientele. So we want to make sure that we're staffing according to what we have a plan, and we'll have scalable staffing and have ongoing hiring as well.
Okay. And your plans to hire from within Boston and Dorchester, how are you going to outreach in terms of recruitment?
Well, I'm from Boston, so I have a list already of people waiting to for us to
Okay.
open so that they can come in and help. They've been following the mission for a while. We've also been working closely with Mr. Milton Jones from the Louis D. Brown Institute's reentry program and trying to identify those candidates that actually have the charges that would allow them to be employed by the dispensary because a lot of them are disqualified due to their charges. So we started
Mhm.
to have those conversations to really kind of create a pipeline because the Louis D. Brown Institute is directly behind us. So it would really build and strengthen that relationship.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Gangi?
Good afternoon. First of all, thanks so much for the really great presentation. My question is actually similar to the one that was some of the concerns raised in the community group. I noticed that there is a park right across the street, and in previous, previous businesses that have come to the board, the abutters have complained about loitering, have complained about the smell impacts of a marijuana business so close to actually just being in the vicinity and then impact to open spaces, et cetera. So what is your plan for mitigating for some of those impacts? And have you thought about how you'd address those impacts?
No, absolutely. I think at every meeting I start with I am a parent as well. I have a teenager, so diversion prevention is important to me as a parent, first and foremost, as well as a business owner. I think education is part of what we need to continue to do. Most people walk by dispensaries and don't know that they have walked by a dispensary because there is no odor. There is closed product that is already sealed. It's usually held in a temperature controlled vault in the back of the store. So unless you've entered, and there's actually two sets of doors you have to go through before you enter the space to even access the product. So odor mitigation kind of works itself out because of those things that are embedded in the law. In terms of diversion prevention, that's something that I'm truly passionate about. Again, I have a teenager. I think it's important that we emphasize that this is an adult use product. Coach Jay, that actually coaches basketball across at the field, and I have started having conversations about the type of education that those kids would need because he said the problem is existing, that it is an issue that older children are smoking under the bleachers. And I think that our presence and our focus on education will actually help amplify that. Everyone knows every dispensary has a lot of cameras. So, in terms of loitering and being within the view of camera, that's actually a preventative measure all in its own. But I think it's really going to have to be engaging with the community and having thoughtful conversations as this is a legal product. And we, just like we tell our children not to drink alcohol and not to consume other drugs, we need to really start being accountable to the education that is needed for our teenagers and our young people that this is an adult use product. And research has shown us that children are not to be using it unless they're under medical supervision. So I think that that's the priority, and that's where the conversation really begins.
Thanks. And I appreciate your background as a nurse as well. So I understand that, you've got a particular training. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how those education efforts are successful. So I would love to, at some point, when appropriate, to kind of get a sense of how successful the education efforts are, because I think that'll make a big difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Impacts we've heard from other businesses as well. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Soto?
Thank you for this presentation. I thought it was actually very comprehensive. I was curious along the lines of the connection between sort of the benefits and the JDI committee and its goals, and how you would think about sort of, or if you already have a plan in the onboarding process to sort of gain this like shared commitment to that ideal, because I feel like it looks great on paper, but if it's not sort of part of the culture or rhythm, then maybe it's just words on the page. So just curious about that.
No, absolutely. And I think that that's the point. Because we are a diverse ownership group, majority is just two immigrants that were born outside of this country, came here and took advantage of the opportunities that we had. We in learning how to interact in a city that is as diverse as the city of Boston, that is embedded in all of our experiences. We're very engaged in a lot of community efforts. So it is part of onboarding. It is part of the culture of the company. It is a very big part of who we are, even in our fundraising for our business. 90% of our funds are from immigrant families, community, like that is who we are. So it's embedded in the culture of who we will be. And I think the most important things are in the cannabis industry, we have diversity guidelines that are on paper, and I think companies need to do a better job at holding themselves accountable to those guidelines rather than waiting for the state to audit that they're doing that, and having a committee that is tracking that. So if we can do focused engagement and outreach. I think that that is what we're supposed to do with the business, and that was the true intention of those diversity plans.
Great. Thank you.
Or did you have additional questions, Commissioner Soto?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes, I had a bit of a technical difficulty, so I could have missed what you said. I'm very sorry. But could you do a little bit of elaborating on your security measures? How many security people you plan on having, and just elaborate a little bit more than what you have in your plan?
So essentially, in terms of the security measures, truly guided by our state laws. So we will have zero blind spots in terms of personnel. We are still working on staffing and staffing up, but we will have security personnel on site at somebody checking in IDs and over at the front of the entry. Again, no blind spots, 360 camera coverage, 24/7. Surveillance and access control through badge access are all state requirements and part of the law. So we're just going to be very compliant with the law and ensure that there are no blind spots and that we are minding security first. And also just the secured access is and the panic buttons that are connected directly to C11, which is also behind us. I think will also help deter any criminal activity around the dispensary.
Okay, so you don't have a security team right now. And this Cure 8, will they be providing training for your security people?
Yes, they will. They do
Okay.
onboarding training and surveillance training as well. And we are probably going to have the most comprehensive onboarding education just because of our backgrounds and how we educate in the clinical spaces. So that everyone will have to not only do this, but I'll do annual competencies to ensure that we're staying up to date on the law as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Any additional questions or comments from the board members? All right, we'll move to public testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives.
Hi, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS conducted a public meeting on November 21st. It was well attended with over 30 attendees present. Many of them abutters, direct abutters. We heard a mix of opinions during that public meeting. Those who spoke in support were pleased that the applicants were diversity equity applicants. They liked their commitments to community benefits, especially the education side of things. They thought that this would be a successful business venture. There's others who also spoke. They liked the preservation of that space. I believe it was an old theater and then a laundromat. Those who spoke in opposition, as you heard from the applicant, kind of described concerns that this would exacerbate existing issues with public consumption in that area. There was some concerns of parking mentioned, also proximity to some youth sports that occur at Town Field, as well as proximity to. We received 2 letters in opposition. One from the Rainbow Senior Center, the other from the Vietnamese American Community of Massachusetts. The latter one, the Vietnamese American Community of Massachusetts, also included a petition with a number of signatures, I believe over 30 signatures expressing their opposition. As you heard the applicant state, they have not presented to the local civic association. It sounds like they'll be doing that next month. With that information, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Connor. Are there any other elected officials or their representatives that would like to speak? All right, we'll move to those that signed up to testify. Luke, if you want to read those names.
Yep. And just a reminder that you have 2 minutes to testify and to state your name and address when called upon. The first one is Rahul Patel.
How are you guys? Just a quick introduction. My name is Rahul Patel. I'm at 1400 Gorham Street in Lowell. I'm actually been in the cannabis industry since 2018. I've known Drew and Drew's partners in the industry for a while. They are amazing people, let alone that, but you know, the qualities that we need in operators in the industry, they fit right into that picture. So I just wanted to speak in support of them. I'm here to support them. So thank you guys.
Right, thank you. Next we have Derek D'Ambrosia.
Hello, my name is Derek D'Ambrosio. I live at 37 Union Street in Charlestown. I'm also have been in the cannabis industry since 2017. I know Drew very well. We've got a chance I've had the pleasure of sharing several speaking engagements with her, and I know their team well. We work with them on manufacturing products. So with as an operator, I can tell you that I think their heart's in the right place. I think they're very professional, and I did get a chance to tour their location. It's beautiful, and I think it's going to improve the area. That's all.
All right, thank you. Next is Ruben Marquez.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to speak in support of Zeb Boutique. I've been in the cannabis industry for almost a decade, and I've had the pleasure of knowing Drew for quite some time as well. We've had the opportunity to collaborate on several successful ventures. She's not only a dedicated mother, but also an exceptional businesswoman. Drew is kind, responsible, and genuinely cares about making a positive impact in the community. As a local of Boston, I can confidently say that any business she brings to the city would be a tremendous asset, benefiting both the community and local economy. Thank you.
Ruben, can you just state your address for the record?
36 Johnswood Road in Roslindale.
Okay, thank you. Next is Leslie Pasquale.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon, members of the Boston Cannabis Board. My name is Leslie Pasquale, and I'm a proud member of the Zeb Boutique team. And it is a team that brings a vision that I deeply believe in. My address is 9 Hall Place in Quincy right now, and my family home, which we still own, is at 103 Alexander Street in Dorchester. As a daughter of Fields Corner, I'm proud to represent not just this company, but the community that raised me and instilled in me the values of hard work, perseverance, and giving back. Fields Corner holds a special place in my heart. It's where I saw my father become an entrepreneur after immigrating from the Dominican Republic, building something meaningful for our family and community. His journey inspired me, and now I have the privilege to return home, focusing on healing and empowerment through plant medicine. As a boutique, we see cannabis as more than a product. It's a pathway to healing, education, and community building. We're committed to providing safe access, fostering meaningful connections, and investing in the health and well-being of our neighborhoods. This is more than a business to me. It's about creating legacy of healing and opportunity in the place that gave me my start. I urge the Boston Cannabis Board to approve Zeb Boutique's application. By doing so, you're supporting a Latina woman-owned company dedicated to uplifting this community and affirming the power of local entrepreneurship to creating change. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next is Darrell Black.
How you doing today? My name is Darrell Black. 16 Elwyn Road, Boston, Massachusetts is the address, and I am calling in support of Zeb Boutique. I think it is a wonderful opportunity for Black, Brown, and minorities to have businesses in Fields Corner in the greater Boston area, especially on Dorchester Ave. I think that it is really prominent to get more robust and more ownership that are minorities, because that is kind of slipping away from the inner city. So it is an amazing thing to have Black, Brown ownership and woman ownership in the Fields Corner area. So I am in 100% support with it, and thank you.
Yep, thank you. And we have Erica Wright.
Hi guys, good afternoon. My name is Erica Wright, and my address is at 120 Whitwell Street in Quincy, Massachusetts. I've known Drew and her team for quite some time now, a few years. I work in the business industry and have been colleagues of Drew for many, many years. And I am testifying in support for another woman and Latina owned dispensary. I'm very excited for Zeb to come forward. And I think that knowing Drew's passion and her team's commitment to the betterment of the community has been loudly outspoken and supportive of so many individuals. And I think that you can already see how she's exemplified this by connecting with the local coaches that she had mentioned in her presentation, as well as the abutting community members behind her facility. And so I wanted to just quickly show support in regards to her dispensary, because I do believe we need more diverse business owners in this industry. And I think it would be wonderful if Drew and her team got to move forward with this location.
All right, thank you. And Jasmine, that's everyone who signed up for Zeb Boutique.
All right, we do have a raised hand from Alan's iPhone.
Good afternoon. My name is Alan Isaacson, 1534 Dorchester Avenue, Dorchester, Mass. I work and run a business in Fields Corner, Dorchester. I've been a part of this community for over 25 years. I also want to add that I am also the property owner where Zeb is seeking to locate their business. I'm here to express my support for the proposed boutique, and I believe it will bring positive contributions to the neighborhood and align with the values of our community. Thank you for your time and consideration. I respectfully ask the board to approve this project. Thank you.
Sandra has her hands raised.
Hi, I'd just like to say that I'd like to add my support for Zeb Boutique, and I think that their method of education, as well as the hiring of Curated, is going to shape and change the face of cannabis in that area, and it's actually going to be a huge improvement to what we have in cannabis in in Boston area as well as Massachusetts to see more Black-owned and female-owned businesses in this industry. Unfortunately, we've had a dearth of white-owned companies and not a lot of Black-owned companies come into the actual space of Boston. And I'm really truly proud for Zeb. Thank you so much.
Sandra, can you just give your address for the record? Sorry. You're muted.
My address is 52 Trowbridge Street in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Thank you. Will has his hand raised.
Good afternoon. My name is Will Luzier. I am a lawyer, and I was the campaign manager for the initiative in 2016 that legalized marijuana. Since then, I have been working with folks through the licensing process and then maintaining compliance. I have volunteered and been accepted to help with Zeb Boutique on compliance. And I believe that they will be one of the most compliant companies in the state, if not in Boston.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this matter? All right, seeing no one, the board will take this matter under advisement. We'll move to the next matter. The applicant is South End Cannabis LLC, doing business as Erva. The proposed license premise is 605 Mass Ave, South End. The license type is a retail recreational cannabis dispensary license. The proposed hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 7 p.m. This is an equity applicant. They filed their application on August 30th, 2024. They filed with Inspectional Services on April 2nd, 2024, and they have held their community meeting on October 16th, 2024. Before we hear the presentation, I will ask Shakia Scott, who is the Senior Cannabis Manager for OEOI, to read the equity certification into the record.
Thank you, Jasmine. Good afternoon, everyone. Our office was able to certify South End Cannabis LLC as an equity applicant through the documentation submitted by the applicant, Derek D'Ambrosio. Mr. D'Ambrosio is the Chief Marketing Officer and 51% beneficial interest holder of South End Cannabis LLC, meeting the 51% ownership interest threshold set forth in the ordinance. Mr. D'Ambrosio meets the following criteria: a person who has a past arrest or conviction for the possession, sale, manufacturing, or cultivation of marijuana between 1971 and 2016, who has also been a resident of Boston for the past 5 years. Mr. D'Ambrosio submitted a signed Corey acknowledgement form, as well as his record showing he was convicted of one of these he was convicted of possession in 2001 and provided a copy of his lease, bills, and other statements establishing he has resided in Boston from 2003 to the present. He also meets a person who has resided in the city of Boston for at least the past 7 years. Again, he submitted copies of his lease, bills, and other statements establishing he has resided in Boston from 2003 to present. And he meets a person who has been certified by the CCC as economic empowerment or social equity and is a resident of Boston for at least one of the last 3 years. He has been certified by the CCC as a social equity applicant since November of 2021. And again, as stated above, he provided a copy of his lease, bills, and other statements establishing that he has resided in Boston for at least one of the last 3 years. Are there any other questions about this certification?
Thank you, Shakia.
Welcome.
Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
I am. Hi.
Can you state your name? Sorry.
Antonella Valores.
Are you the only one presenting?
Yes, ma'am. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Antonella Valores, and I'm the Chief Compliance Officer of South End Cannabis LLC. Today, I'm excited to share our vision with you for establishing a cannabis retail establishment at 605 Massachusetts Avenue in Boston South End. South End Cannabis is a CCC Social Equity Program participant and an applicant to the Boston Equity Program as well. South End Cannabis is led by a fantastic team with extensive experience in the cannabis industry. We have Derek D'Ambrosio, our CMO and social equity licensee, who already has experience in opening up successful retail establishments within the state. Ruben Marks, our CEO, who has his own cannabis manufacturing facility in Western Mass and years of experience in both the hemp and cannabis industry. Max Sorosky, our COO and security director, who's traveled around the country and even the world establishing and operating cannabis facilities. And myself as COO, our CCO, and I've been working in the cannabis industry for a few years now, and I'm currently in law school to further my career in cannabis compliance. As someone who's lived in the South End for 4 years while studying at Northeastern University, I'm extremely excited about this project, and I believe the South End is the perfect home for it. We recognize the challenges posed by the opioid crisis in the nearby Mass and Cass intersection, and we're committed to being a part of the solution through harm reduction, education, and collaboration. Our goal is to partner with our community to help those impacted and positively change the area through community cleanups, partnerships with local organizations, and providing resources for underserved groups. We also plan to host monthly seminars to combat stigma and promote responsible cannabis consumption, since we believe that misinformation is one of the biggest issues that plague our industry. We've already been engaging with our local community since June of 2024, where we've been meeting with our neighbors at 605 Mass Ave, neighbors at the Chester Square Neighborhood Association, the Claremont Neighborhood Association, and we've participated in 2 cleanups. Through this research, we understand that our neighbors' main areas of concern include proximity to nearby schools and the Mass and Cass intersection. Here are some pictures of the cleanup we did with nonprofit Beantown Greentown. A little bit about our location. 605 Mass Ave is a mixed-use building with 9 residential and 1 commercial unit that has no buffer zones. The unit will be owner-occupied and operated, and 70% of the condo by ownership are either in support or non-opposition of our project. Located between Shawmut and Washington Street, our proposed location has excellent accessibility as it's nearby public transportation with bus stops and train stations, all within walking distance of a few minutes. As you can see here, we have a 2-minute walk from the 8 stop. The 1 is a 5-minute walk. We also have the Orange Line and Green Line also within walking distance. Although there's only street parking by our location, we expect most of our customers to come via foot traffic anyways. The area's proximity to institutions like BU Medical Center and Northeastern University provides a consistent flow of potential customers over the age of 21, including professionals and students. As the only marijuana retailer within a half-a-mile radius, we'll meet the needs of local residents while minimizing their need for extensive travel. And we expect approximately 200 customers daily and have planned our store layout and procedures to ensure the average customer experience is streamlined to under 7 minutes. This includes the time from when IDs are first checked at the entrance to when they're leaving with their purchase. As social equity participants ourselves, we're dedicated to building a diverse workforce with goals to employ minorities, women, veterans, and social equity applicants. And our leadership team will reflect those values as well. To achieve a diverse workforce, we'll partner with local organizations and online job websites to recruit individuals with these backgrounds. We also hope to host job fairs and resume writing workshops to empower disenfranchised applicants. To ensure a diverse leadership and management team, we'll be implementing workplace training and development programs for employees from underrepresented groups to train them for managerial roles that will allow us to internally hire later on. We want not only our team to be diverse, but also our suppliers as well. We aim to allocate 35% of our procurement budget to diverse suppliers, ensuring our economic impact extends throughout the community. We also want to continue our community engagement by offering internships and host educational programs to those interested in joining the industry, especially social equity applicants. We also will have our employees choose a local organization to volunteer at, and we will pay them for those hours as a way to really give back to the community that's been hosting us. We will use both qualitative and quantitative measurements to ensure that we're reaching our goals every quarter, including our workforce and supplier metrics, employee satisfaction surveys, and tracking outcomes of employment placing through these programs. And here's just some examples of the sources that we plan on pulling this data from and our tracking methods. What I want to emphasize is how much we take security seriously, not just within the store, but outside as well. We will have 2 individuals for security on site at all times to ensure safety and that individuals in the facility are all over the age of 21. We will have at least 4 outdoor and 12 indoor cameras, giving us complete coverage of the facility, as well as extensive coverage of the street and alleyway. All footage will be kept for over 90 days, and we will also have a state-of-the-art 24/7 surveillance and alarm system that will be continuously monitored by a third-party company. ID verification will be mandated at multiple points. We will have controlled access badge readers that will ensure only authorized individuals will have access to certain parts of the establishment, including a secure vault where all cannabis will be stored. We understand that the nearby Hurley School is an area of concern for some of our neighbors. However, I want to reassure that we will take all precautions necessary to ensure our products will not get into the hands of those under the age of 21. The process at our dispensary will be IDs are first checked and scanned at our secure entry lobby entrance. Only then are they allowed into the store where they can place an order at either a kiosk or with a bud tender. The bud tender then verifies their ID a second time before payment, and then the customer is given their purchase in exit bags and leaves, ideally all under 7 minutes. All youths will be protected by our multiple ID checks, childproof packaging, employee trainings on diversion prevention, and assurance that our marketing does not appeal to those under the age of 21. Deliveries will occur on a randomized schedule by 2 drivers in the back alley, carefully timed to avoid peak traffic periods. To minimize congestion, deliveries will take place during low traffic hours, such as midday or in the late evening. The unpredictability of the schedule ensures that delivery times will remain discrete and cannot be anticipated. As for our team, we'll start by hiring 9 to 13 employees, with bud tenders starting at $20 an hour and managers at $65K a year with benefits. We want our employees to be local, and with the high cost of living, we know we have to order a competitive starting rate compared to other dispensaries to ensure those that work here can also live here. We would also like to offer 401k plans and internal mentorship programs, as mentioned earlier, that would allow us to internally hire for managerial roles, as well as offer professional development programs. We are committed to creating a positive and lasting impact in the South End community through responsible retailing, equity initiatives, and community engagement. We look forward to working together with the community and city officials to achieve this vision. Thank you for your time and consideration. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. We will move to the commissioners, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. Thank you for that presentation. 605 Mass Ave, how many units are in that building?
So there are 9 residential units and 1 commercial unit.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit more? You said the 70% of the residents support it. I went through what we have so far in file, and I don't see a single letter of support from a resident. And Rep Moran stated it was that the support was not as strong from the residents, or I can't think of the word, but not factually accurate.
So 70% by ownership percentage is either in non-opposition and in support. I'm aware that there was a letter going around. We did have other owners that retracted their signage on that letter of opposition. I'm not sure if the PDF with all those letters was updated, but we did have a few more in non-opposition come in as well as a few support, I believe.
I can elaborate on that. It's been an ongoing issue between the building here with the owners. I did send an update this morning with all the letters of support that Connor should have had and updated everyone on.
Okay, I'll take a look. So that raises another question I have. How many of the units are owner occupied, or how many are rented out to other people?
There are 2 owner occupied. 1 is in support and 1 is opposed.
Okay. And then of the other 7 owners, units. Do you know whether the tenants support it or whether the owners support it? Just to give me a better picture.
Yeah, the other, so 7 owners, the residential owners, one other opposes that I know of, and 2 I don't know where they stand, and then the rest either support or are neutral. I think 2 are neutral and the rest support. And we do have documentation, signed letters from everyone.
Okay, so neutral. What's your definition of neutral? How do you compare "I'm not sure what they're doing" to neutral? Do they sign a letter of non-opposition, or?
There was a letter of opposition that there was talks about. But I hadn't seen that, and so I don't know who signed. But from the 5 other units that I know are in support, and 2 of them neutral.
Okay, and tell me a little bit more about the community benefits that you were referencing in the presentation.
Which ones are you referring to?
Just maybe I read in the board memo, the community benefits. Do you have community benefits? In the board memo, it said something about community benefits.
I can answer some of these. We intend to bring a lot of benefits to the community here. As a owner-occupied business, we're inherently attached to the community, so whatever's good for the community is good for us, and we intend to be part of it. The security that comes with the dispensary, the extra security, I think for this block is essential, because there's a lot of crime and loitering associated with Malnia Cass. We will be adding jobs to the local economy. There's a lot of empty storefronts in this area, and I think if we bring a successful business, it'll add to the attraction to attract other businesses to the area, as well as the Alexandra Hotel, which is right on the corner of our block. These are all, and then also being all of us being local, as a management, and all our workers, we're keeping all the profits and proceeds in the local economy, which I think is really big and different than a lot of the other MSOs.
Okay. And just elaborate more about the precautions you're taking due to the fact that you're so close to the school.
We are 1,000 feet from the school. We obviously, with the regulations, we will have opaque windows so no one can see in, no one can see the product. We will have 2 points of checking IDs so that we ensure that no one under the age of 21 enters the establishment. As well as our security personnel there that are going to be professional, because we do know that this area rough area, and I think the extra security is really going to benefit the community.
Okay.
I would just also quickly add that it is across Mass Ave, that they would have to cross the street to come over. So that's just a natural barrier. It's not that easy to get there. Training is obviously very important in this regard, specifically as we know that the school closed. The state of Massachusetts has not yet had an incident of diversion where sales were made directly to a minor. We're actually taking fake IDs away. So if anyone attempts to come into a dispensary, the technology that we are required to have for the regulations allows us to identify those fake IDs and get them off the street. And then obviously not permit any sales to minors. So we don't expect that to happen, but staying compliant will help us ensure that we're, well within the guardrails set.
Thank you very much. Jasmine, I don't have any other questions.
Commissioner Camacho, do you have any questions?
Yes, the $20 an hour, that's the starting rate, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that would apply to both full-time and part-time employees?
Yes, that's the starting rate for our bud tenders.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gandhi?
Thank you, Jasmine, and thank you so much for the presentation. So I know a lot has been, Mass and Cass has been brought up a lot in the opposition letters. How far away are you from the intersection of Mass Avenue and Melnia Cass Boulevard?
I don't have an exact distance for you. However, it is within a proximity that it is, reason for concern. But we are taking precautions. We don't expect that this location would attract people that are over there to us. We expect to be only higher end products that are going to be offered. And we really don't expect that would attract the area, the crisis that's going on in that area.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Soto?
Thanks, Jasmine. So, coming from a, if I could have my day job hat on it from Boston Medical Center, I am very much aware of the concerns and the different ways that the situation plays out, both from a business lens and how it affects our campus at BMC, as well as from the community lens and how it affects the neighbors and residents, and in the work that we do often with some of the local community groups. So I can definitely see how some of the ways that the benefits of cannabis could be misconstrued or seen as not as direct of a clinical approach to supporting folks that are being ravaged by this disease, and causes some concern for me in terms of the suggestion around the opioid to cannabinoid connection. And so I just wanted to better understand the framing and the rationale for suggesting that as a means to help, to help the crisis that's happening at Mass and Cass.
Thank you for bringing that up. I'd like to address this. My name is Derek D'Ambrosio. I'm the social equity applicant. And I think that concern is coming from the work that I do with Beantown Greentown, which currently Beantown Greentown, is a nonprofit that focuses on veterans, helping them get off of opioids and onto cannabinoids. I believe Andrew Muddy, the president of the nonprofit, is on here. And we give them space in our facility right now at the front of the storefront as their headquarters for that nonprofit work. They're also the ones that have been instrumental in cleaning up the community, helping us do several cleanups where we've picked up a lot of needles and returned them safely to hospitals, cleaned up a lot of trash. As we mentioned before, the products that we sell are high-end cannabis products with the average ticket being $50 or more. So they're not targeted towards opioid addicts. We're not trying to advertise to that clientele. That's not South End Cannabis will not be able to directly help those people. But Beantown Greentown, I've helped them create what's called a affordable access initiative. I've been in the legal cannabis industry since 2017, consulting, and I was the co-founder of Cape Cod Cannabis. I've seen firsthand that there's a lot of cannabis waste in the industry. For instance, if something's about to hit their expiration date, I've had to personally destroy perfectly good cannabis. Usually we offer bud tenders the opportunity to buy this product for a penny or a dollar, depending on what it is. And then we get a credit from the vendor. So what I've done with Beantown Greentown as a nonprofit is set up a website where any retail partner in the state can send a message to Beantown Greentown and say that they have this product, whether it be book gummies or whatever it is that might expire in a month or whenever, and they're willing to offer it at a discount to our members. Now, we don't specifically say what discount it is because of compliance reasons. We're basically just a middleman. We don't make any money from that transaction. They're not legally allowed to advertise discounts. So we essentially have a text message and email campaign blast set up where our members will get a message saying that, hey, this dispensary over in Worcester or wherever it is has some gummies that might expire on this date. If you're interested, feel free to go in there and tell them Beantown Greentown sent you. Limit one per person per day. And that's to the extent of what we do. We don't make any money from it. It's not a kickback. There's nothing like that. So that's the program. The way that we get people to sign up from that is from Andrew's the efforts that he does, where he attends VFW events and he works with the veterans, and it's not specifically towards just veterans. Basically, anybody that wants affordable access to cannabis is allowed to sign up and get that. Does that answer your question?
I can add on as well. Commissioner Soto.
So thank you for that answer. But I think I can appreciate that, but I'd like to understand a little bit more around the rationale for the suggestion around the opioid to cannabinoid connection.
So, yeah, Commissioner Soto, as an industry, we've been around for a while. We know the plant very well, especially on the medical side of things. We have seen a lot of addictions be broken with using cannabis as a tool for getting people off of addictions like opioids. It's been a very successful, and there's studies, and we have nurses and doctors that have studies and all this stuff. It's not like we have the answer to fix this problem at Melnia Cass. It is just we have the resources and education and to break that stigma, and to be used as a tool, and to help the community and the city try something new. But it's by no means going to fix the problem. It's just an extra tool and resources that would be available, which would be our expertise and our education and our outreach to fix a problem that we just genuinely want to help fix. And that's where that's coming.
And I'm going to add that. Sorry, could I just quickly jump in, Commissioner? Just in support of Ruben's comment. So obviously this is a citywide issue and a nationwide issue. There's a lot of parts at play here and a lot of entities that need to come together and work together to solve it. So clearly one business is not going to. This is a company that cares, that acknowledges that there's an issue and is willing to do its part, knowing that there have been studies that suggest that an increase in medical and recreational cannabis storefronts are associated with reduced opioid mortality rates. And it actually tends more towards deaths that occur from fentanyl. So understanding that there is supportive research out there saying that cannabis can be helpful is something that we take seriously and hope to do our best with. Can't guarantee any solutions, but we can help to make an impact, and that's the goal here.
And good afternoon, Commissioner Soto. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Max Sarosky, Chief Operating Officer at South End Cannabis, and also contribute to the security aspects of this facility. I have previous 8 years of experience in the cannabis industry of developing and maintaining facilities, whether they be retail or back-end production facilities. Throughout this time frame, I focused on building sustainable and compliant businesses, and just contributing to this fact that cannabis and minor cannabinoids do increase the accessibility to medicines that may not otherwise be accessible, is something that I've seen across the state and also across the nation. So Not only is South End Cannabis thinking and having that at the forefront of their mind, but the organization as a whole offering these tools and having another tool in the arsenal is I think a plus to the community.
Hello. Oh, sorry. Commissioner, can y'all hear me?
Hi, are you part of the presentation team?
Yes. Sorry. My name is Dr. Marion McNabb. I'm part of the team. I'm just jumping in here to echo what the team has talked about in terms of the cannabis and the relation to the opioid epidemic. I submitted some research that I've done personally in Massachusetts, and also some literature from the peer-reviewed evidence in the clinical and public health literature. So there's definitely a potential for cannabis to play a role in harm reduction. It's not a substitute for opioid treatment or opioid therapy, but there is demonstrated evidence in Massachusetts with veterans and with other vulnerable populations that cannabis can be considered a harm reduction alternative, in addition to the current state of treatment that is existing. So the reason why, I am in full support of this company having a license to operate is because that they actually do have evidence and understand the data behind how cannabis can be a harm reduction alternative. As part of our submission, I wrote an evidence review of the scientific literature to date, where it stands about cannabis as an alternative for the board and for the members of the South End community. So I hope that I'm happy to answer any questions related to that evidence, but I don't think that this will be a negative introduction to the neighborhood. I actually think that it'll be a positive ability for really understanding that there's harm reduction alternatives out there. Happy to answer any specific questions related to the science.
Thank you all. That was a very informed response, and Dr. McNabb, I agree, and I think that's the point that you've raised is essentially why I'm concerned with the way that on the page of the presentation it's being represented, right? It's not in the abstract. I believe it will be helpful, certainly, but that requires wraparound services, clinicians, and others who can help to guide the individual from an opioid with the assistance of cannabinoid to a better place. 100% veterans and everyone who I think has seen the work that has been done and the beneficial aspects of cannabis. That being said, I think it is a leap based on my reading, although as soft as it sort of is on the page, it says we're not saying this is a solution, but this can, potentially help the mass and cast is, I think, partly why the community who has been dealing with this crisis for almost 10 years now might feel like that is more of an empty gesture than based on clinical data, because it's not there on the page saying, see this study, or we've worked with this organization to, study this, or, so that's where I just want to, for me, it's like, I need to understand that better. And so, I appreciate the comment, Dr. McNabb, that certainly makes sense to me, but that's not the way it felt like it was being represented. So that was actually just one question I had. So Jasmine, I know that we can move on to the next person.
No, please ask your question. This is your time.
Okay, sorry. So on the employment piece, 85% of Boston residents, when I see that, I love that, but I also see that and go, how? And so I would love to learn how you would aspire to have 85% Boston residents working at this location.
Absolutely. Ideally, we're hoping everyone that's working there is a Boston resident. We are going to utilize online sources and job postings within the community to ensure that it's advertised to people within Boston. And just through our outreach alone, the past few months, people have been walking by the store and they've been signing letters and asking for jobs. So we already have a list of people who live on Mass Ave and cross streets that are already want to work at this location. So we're really hoping that it's people just in walking distance as well that are going to be our bud tenders and our managers.
Yeah, I think our management is local. We live in Boston, myself, Derek. And as a business person, I've always hired local. It's just efficiency. The distance to work matters for everyone. So I think it's just a natural thing for a business to hire from local area. And this is our commitment.
I've been at the store every day for the last couple months, and as people come in and they're signing letters of support, if they're interested in a job, I have them write that on the bottom of the letter of support form. So you can see for yourself right on those that we have more than enough people just who walked by to fill the store. But we're all from Boston. We have a very big network here. I do a lot of events in Boston. I attend a lot of cannabis events. I have a lot of people in this neighborhood. We have a very small store. We're not going to have a problem filling up the 85%. That's why I was confident at putting that number down there.
Okay, that's great. Okay, Jasmine, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Holmes?
Last but not least, questions on the storefront. As I'm looking at the picture, how do the residents access the building? I only see the stairs to the left or to the right and to the left, but I don't see access to your building. So how do they get in your building?
So I believe that's an old render that you're looking at. I have a better one that I can send you. There is a separate door for the residents upstairs. I think I can share my screen again. I could show you an updated render that's going to be more accurate to what the storefront will look like.
Okay.
One moment here. Let me see if I can share my screen again.
Or if you can't, you can just submit it after we talk and then I can look at it later.
Here, I have it. One moment.
Thank you. We've been bootstrapping this thing and doing it all in-house. So the first version wasn't quite there yet.
Yep. So the door on the left that's blocked out, that's the entrance to what would be the dispensary. And then the right that has like the two flower boxes to sort of divide it, that's the entrance for the units upstairs.
Okay, I got you. All right. Okay, I see it. Okay, so you got two doors. Okay, I got you. So now my next question is, you didn't provide us with a diagram of the layout inside. So what is your plan for queuing? You know, there are going to be people waiting on the street. Do you have space inside? How is that going to work?
So we were going to have a security vestibule at the entrance. That's where people check in. And I could forward a floor plan after the meeting, but there's enough space inside that we'll have the kiosks on one side and then people to queue with the bud tenders at the front desk there. But there will be
how many people do you think you can service inside? I mean, I know it seems very advantageous that you think you can get everybody in and out of here in 7 minutes, but how do you have people, what happens if you get an influx, a crowd, and you have a lot of people? What's your plan for that? Because basically they will be on Mass Ave waiting to get inside. So how do you try to rectify that?
We're going to incentivize people to to do online purchases, and then we'll text them to pick up. There's a Dunkin' Donuts, there's a clothing store, La Marucci, there's some pizza places, and there's a lot of other restaurants and places to hang out. So they can hang out. Once their order's ready, they'll be able to come in, and from the time we check their ID up front and process their payment and get them in and out, it should be a 7 minute or less. I've been doing this for a very long time. There's not many lines these days, and usually it'll happen at certain times. So our employment We will have more people on during the busy shifts, which typically happen when people are getting out of work. There's usually a little lunchtime uh, shift and then one in the evening. So during those times, we'll have all of the POSs ready. We're going to be incentivizing people to do online orders. And that's our solution. And then hopefully, if they do have to wait, they can spend some money with the local businesses.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So I was part of the first, sorry, my son's coming in. Give me just a second, Noah. I was part of the first dispensary to open in the state, and we had lines for days. 7-year-olds. Am I right? We had lines. You guys heard Netta open in Northampton in 2018, and it was crazy. And one of the most unexpected but great things that happened as a result of that waiting was the boom for other businesses. We worked with the other businesses to, you really got to go, buddy, to offer discounts there or have them invite people in, but it really helped to stimulate the local economy in that way. So that would be a happy problem for us to have in order to, send some money across the street or down the street. But as you heard, business has dropped off quite a bit. I think we're not going to see those types of crowds, but to the extent that there are, I think it will be a good thing for the neighborhood overall.
And one last question, do you plan on, or is it going to be delivery service? Are you going to be utilizing delivery service out of this establishment?
So that's something, because I am a social equity applicant, we're definitely interested in doing. We have an office in the back that would be perfect for having a computer, and to be able to offer that, we would love to. Since we are so small, we were trying to do one thing at a time. But if you'll give me the delivery at the same time, let's go. But I mean, I think what we would like to do is start off with the retail, and then add the courier onto that.
And I one last, and the only reason I know this area because I lived on the other block a long time ago, down the street. Are you going the back alley where you're going to do delivery? That's behind the senior citizens apartment building. So are you going to add some lighting or something back there?
Yes, we've already added one floodlight out there with security, and I've spoken with the management company over there. We'll make sure that our vehicles don't block the path when they do pull up, and where he has my cell phone number. He can reach me anytime. We definitely want to be good neighbors, and now, because B2B delivery is typically over that 5,000 threshold, they usually have more than just my delivery. They'll have other companies' deliveries. The current rules are if a vehicle has more than 5,000, it's still required to have the two drivers. So one driver could be in checking, delivering the product, and then the other is with the vehicle and can move in case he needs to.
Okay, well, thank you, and thank you very much for showing me the new door, Miss Antonia. I like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other follow-up questions from the board members?
I just have one question. Sorry, Jasmine. I just have one question. And the question I have is, I think I heard you say that the product that will be offered here will be a higher end product. So nothing less than $50. Is that right?
No, those are so our products, because we're already in the Massachusetts cannabis industry, our products are sold in about 100 retailers around the state. And the products that we make, the average ticket price is around $50. This store will be basically a farm to table. It'll have obviously all of our products, but we'll also have a few products so that basically we want to have one or two options for every type of customer. We don't make any gummies, but I still do work with some of the best gummy makers in the industry, and I like them, and I'll give them some shelf space. So there will be some items that are under that. It's just the products that we're most known for are the higher end products, and that's what we're really focused on here.
Thank you.
Any other additional questions from the board members? All right, seeing none, we'll move to public testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board some background information in the community process. ONS had hosted a community meeting on October 16th. There were more than 25 residents in attendance, as well as staff from the nearby Boston Medical Center. We heard a variety of opinions on the proposal. Those in support cited that they enjoyed the applicant's connections to nonprofits and their focus on health. Others spoke about the positives of creating an active storefront and the added security that could be brought to this neighborhood that's so close to Mass and Cass. Those in opposition cited proximity to the Hurley School as well as to Mass and Cass, feeling this could contribute to more antisocial behavior and loitering that occurs along this stretch of roadway. There was also concerns brought up about existing public consumption and cannabis advertisements in the existing storefront right now. We ended up receiving so these are the counts for letters that we received from last night. I understand that the applicant has submitted more letters this morning, so the counts does not reflect that. For South End residents and residents living nearby in Roxbury, we received 34 letters in support. For other letters of support from other parts of Boston, we received 22. And from Massachusetts and the broader state, we received 32. Those ones from Massachusetts from the broader state typically reflected what they feel is advantageous to have marijuana as an option for folks who are trying to get off of opioid addictions. So I will say that some of those letters in support included condominium owners inside the building. We also received letters in opposition from condominium owners inside 605 Mass Ave, as well as one letter in non-opposition. Altogether against, we received 11 letters in opposition from South End residents, including but not limited to the Worcester Square Neighborhood Association and the Chester Square Neighborhood Association, as well as Rep. Moran. With that information, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Connor. I do see District 7's office hand raised.
Hello, thank you so much. I'm Angie, representing the District 7 office, and I'll just read a letter from the counselor. It's a letter in opposition to the South End Cannabis LLC, 605 Mass Ave. The letter reads, to whom it may concern, I offer my opposition to the cannabis license for the South End Cannabis LLC. For their proposed dispensary at 605 Mass Ave. Residents in the abutting community have expressed their concern about the proposal to the office, specifically regarding the site's proximity to the Hurley Elementary School. Seniors are overrepresented among immediate neighbors, including senior residents at the Hampton House and Robert Fortes House, both of which struggle with drug-related crime within. Furthermore, we have received word that direct abutters, including those living above the proposed dispensary, are in opposition. We hope that you will listen to the voices of the residents and vote accordingly. Please feel free to contact the office if you have any further questions.
Angie, do you mind forwarding that letter to us? We didn't receive it.
No worries. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I do believe we have Elizabeth from Representative John Moran's office on the call as well.
Hi, how are you? Rep. Moran was sorry he couldn't be here today. He is at a conference for legislators, but he just wanted to quickly note a few things that were in his letter. The first is that the majority of neighbors have opposed this that have reached out to him. I think he's only gotten one person who's in support. The second was that the issues with the residents in the building and the lack of support from them. But I think the biggest issue that's facing him is that this is 3 blocks away from the intersection of Mass and Cass, which for over a decade has been dealing with the spillover effects of the opioid crisis. This is also just pretty much across the street from Victory House, which is one of our longest serving recovery nonprofits, having been in the neighborhood since 1975. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is in his letter. So thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Are there any other elected officials or their representatives that would like to speak? All right, we'll move to public testimony, beginning with those that have signed up. Luke will go through those names.
Thank you, Jasmine. And again, you have 2 minutes to testify, and if you could please restate your name and address when I call upon you. First, we have Julie Ann Mejia.
Hey, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep.
Great. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to speak. My name is Julie Ann Mejia. I am the CEO and founder of Holistic Hemp Solutions. We are a holistic health company with international patent pending cannabinoid, rare minor cannabinoid products. So these are non-psychoactive products. And we help a lot of pediatric families within the Commonwealth. And I have entrusted and worked with Ruben from IRVA for close to 5 years now. I've actually testified in front of many government officials, but especially this area and this neighborhood. We have been asking for a dispensary to be in this location because of the issues with Melina Cass and the drug, pandemic, essentially. It's really a concerning thing. When we talk about alcohol deaths per year, there's 178,000 deaths considered to alcohol per year. In regards to opiates, from 2019, we had about 49,860. That rose to 81,806 in 2022. Those are hard statistical data. I come from a traditional medicine background. I have a BS in psychology with a concentration in cognitive neuroscience and research. I actually was personally injured on the job working in traditional medicine, and I have been put through the opioid situation. So cannabinoids saved my life, and I try to educate doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals that are not aware of the research in regards to these compositions. I thank you guys so much, and I just want to end my testimony with, the bottom line is this has been an ongoing issue with Melina Cass Boulevard for a number of years since I testified previously over 5 years ago. It hasn't gotten better. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I ask you to please consider allowing safe access locations in such areas because it's needed. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate the time today.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Bill Downing.
You're muted, Bill.
Yep, I see you. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Super. My name is Bill Downing. I live at 14 Avon Street in Reading, Massachusetts. I led the popular effort to legalize cannabis in Massachusetts for over 30 years. I'm a homeowner. I'm a father of 2 grown men who grew up here in Massachusetts. And I'm the owner of a small hemp products company. It's actually the first hemp products company, CBD company, to open in the Eastern USA. And I opened in Alston in 2013. I've been doing 30 years of research and consulting with physicians in the Commonwealth, and I can definitively state, as others here have already, that cannabis is an exit drug from opiate dependence. I'll defer to others who are obviously more expert at this. One of the things I wanted to mention about that, though, is that not only can cannabis be considered a substitute, as has been discussed here, but also cannabis is very effective at mitigating withdrawal symptoms from opioids. And that's easily as valuable as the idea of substituting cannabis for an opioid. Also, I just think it's valuable for me, since I have a lot of experience with cannabis in the Boston area and have known these actors for quite a long time. I can testify to the fact that they are honest business people and that they do care very deeply about the Boston community. Ruben Marks has been a talented, honest dealing Boston business owner as a medical hemp products business owner. I've depended on Ruben for quality, tested, potent, and clean hemp products, and he's never let us down. Also, I can speak to Beantown, Greentown. They hold a special place in my heart and in the Boston community. As the principal organizer of the Boston Freedom Rally for 28 years, I learned the nonprofit MassCan Normal.
Bill, that is your 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Chandra Batra.
It's Chandra Batra, and I live at 52 Trowbridge, Apartment 5, Cambridge in Massachusetts. And I would like to speak as a person who has lived experience of opioid addiction. I was a heroin addict from the time I was 12 to the time I was 18. I came to Boston and helped with the founding of MassCan, as well as the founding of Mass Patients Advocacy Alliance, as an out activist, as well as an out person with lived experience. Cannabis can and will change lives. And what I really truly want to see from IRBA is the fact that we have peers on staff and people who've had lived experience to actually speak to a person walking through that door. It can be the scariest thing in the world for an addict to know that there's another answer. And often heroin itself shuts down people to become more isolated and to be depressed and to have anxiety and to have a deep fear of the world. To create a community, to create a space in which someone can be truly accepted and truly honored wherever they are, no matter if they're rich or poor as an addict. In my own head, I'm sitting here echoing the word, thinking about what my mistress Teresa, if she had lived, she pulled her life together and she ended up dying a junkie anyway. If she had had another answer or people telling her that there was another answer other than pill pains for pain management, which she went back to over and over again because she, like me, was also a person struggling to survive and live with a severe pain disorder. My girlfriend, like I, had fibromyalgia stage 4. At the end of her life, she wasn't really walking. She was walking with canes and crutches. And she was living with the stigma of being a disabled person in America. And I've lived with that stigma.
Sandra, that is your 2 minutes.
Okay, next up we have Jody Chapin. You're on mute, Jody. I just asked you to unmute.
Sorry about that. Hi, my name is Jody Chapin. I live at 121 Florissant Avenue in Framingham. I have been a lifelong resident of Massachusetts. I'm a registered nurse, a patient advocate. I'm here to voice my strong support for opening the dispensary South End Cannabis at 605 Mass Ave. This is more than just a business. It's a chance to create a safe, responsible, and community-focused resource that this neighborhood truly needs. As a nurse, I've seen the devastating impact of overprescribed and misused medications. I've also witnessed the transformative potential of cannabis when used responsibly. My personal experience with chronic pain and autoimmune conditions led me to cannabis after traditional medications caused severe side effects and hospitalizations. Cannabis helped me regain control of my health and quality of life, allowing me to reduce my reliance on pharmaceuticals and continue supporting others as a healthcare provider. My mother's experience is equally compelling. At 85 years old, she relied heavily on opiates and benzodiazepines that dulled her personality and did little for the illnesses they were intended for. After moving her to Massachusetts, we introduced lab-tested cannabis and guidance into her care. She was able to stop using those medications entirely, becoming more vibrant, lucid, and engaged. Cannabis has given us both a new lease on life. This dispensary can provide a similar safe, regulated cannabis products to others, along with education and guidance. Many individuals need a trusted resource to help them navigate their options. This dispensary can fill that role while also breaking the stigma surrounding cannabis use. The team behind this project has already demonstrated their commitment to the community. I've worked alongside IRVA, South End Cannabis, and Beantown Greentown on neighborhood cleanups along Mass Ave, addressing public safety concerns like carelessly discarded medical waste in shared spaces.
Jody, that is your 2 minutes.
Okay, next we have Joan Mark. Okay, we have Louis Andrew Muddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on. This is Joan.
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Joan Mark, and I'm one of the owners who signed the letter of opposition. And I've lived here for going on 18 years, and I've raised my son here. I was a bit hesitant to make any statement here today because I sort of feel intimidated by the owner, Mr. Marquez, by his behavior. He's telling the other owners that I have something personal against him, and I don't even know him like that. We had an owners meeting last week, and he accused me of spreading false rumors about him and tarnishing his character. And I feel targeted and intimidated. He is called and texted and emailed me consistently, and I've asked him to stop. And I don't know where he got my number from. I never gave him my number. He just out of the blue started calling and texting. And so at this point, I feel a little scared of, not a little scared, very scared of Mr. Marquez because I don't know anything about him. And to the point where I went to the police to make a statement. And I'm also not happy about someone downstairs approaching my son about the marijuana shop. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Louis Andrew Muddy.
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Well, let me start my timer here because I like to know when I'm done. So here we go. I'm starting. My name is Andrew Muddy. I started Beantown Greentown about 7 years ago with a good friend of mine. My
Can
current
you state your address, Andrew? Please?
Yep. My current address is 883 Weirs Boulevard in Laconia, New Hampshire. My business is currently registered to 20 Crane Street in Dedham, Mass. I'm a lifelong Bostonian myself. I went to high school on Marlborough Street, college on Mass Ave, on Huntington Ave, and I went to elementary school in West Roxbury. I've seen the city change since I was a young kid, and what used to be called the combat zone is now brownstone zone, and things have really changed a lot. And I think that progression is really going to change even more. To talk to Mr. Soto just a little bit because some of his concerns came up and my name was brought up. I really think that what we're doing is we're making the first steps and trying to make this full loop circle. A lot of doctors and medical professionals are scared to lose their license right now because they don't want to talk about the benefits of cannabis. And unfortunately, benefits of cannabis are the last end resorts. I'm sorry, we can't do anything for you. Good luck. And what happens is people go to cannabis and people find results. So what I'd like to do as a nonprofit is find a way to connect those loops and make people see the possibilities of how that their recovery can start with living green basically, and then becoming a full-fledged normal human being active in society. And I think that this group has those initiatives and they have the ability to be able to make that change. I feel bad that the person that spoke before me said Mr. Rubin is intimidating. He is not that type of person. He is a child. He is very kind and warming. And I don't think anything that somebody like that would do to anything like he would do anything like that to anybody. It sounds like slander to me from somebody that doesn't like what's about to happen in their neighborhood. And unfortunately, what is happening is there's a movement, and Beantown Greentown is helping move the needle along. And we want to change the community. We want to offer better resources for the community, and we can do that by engagement, and we can do that by people with big hearts and people that are willing to make a change. I don't see anybody in that area trying to make a change like that we have. Everybody else is out there trying to make a buck. We're out there trying to do it with our hearts and our minds and care for the people in the community. So if this group is doing that and bringing that to the community, I would say that that's probably the best thing for the community. in my opinion. I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for everything, and have a great day.
All right, thank you. Next is Carol Blair.
I don't think she's on, Luke.
Okay. Next is Devont Scarborough.
Oh, hey. Hi. My name is Devant Scarborough, and I live at 176 West Newton, West Springfield Street. And initially, I was not really jazzed about the dispensary actually coming into the neighborhood, but this past weekend, I got an opportunity to actually go into the dispensary itself, and just really blown away at the end of it all. It's this neighborhood needs what the last thing that we need right now is empty retail. And this is more or less an anchor. This is a destination for people of a high-end product. I believe that people will be coming in. And also, I don't think that it's going to, the opioid crisis is a completely different thing altogether. That being said, I love the idea of the security, all the people that are going to be local. It's a great job. And I think it's just going to be fantastic for the neighborhood at the end of the day. So that's my 2 cents.
All right, thank you very much. Next is Ron Galamb. Okay, John Roosevelt.
Hi, how are you? My name is
Good.
John Roosevelt. I live at 35 Salem Street in Swampscott. And I wanted to testify today in favor of the South End store. I've known Derek and Ruben and also Mrs. Napoli professionally, and in Derek's case personally for a number of years now. I cannot speak more highly about this team as individuals. Not only are their hearts in the right place, but their actions and their intentions and their commitment to following through on what they've said that they're going to do. They firmly believe in this industry. They firmly believe in the power of this industry. And I think that there has been, just in listening to the testimony here, a lot of concerns that have been, I think, misplaced. I think Mr. Scarborough's testimony about going into the store and seeing that this is going to be an anchor location and having that experience really change the way he felt about it is a huge testament to what they're trying to do here and what they're trying to bring to the local community. So I wanted to get up here and give my support in favor of Mr. Marquez, Mr. D'Ambrosio, and the team that they've put together, having known them for as long as I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ben Garvin.
Hi, thank you for hearing me. My name is Ben Garvin. I live at 561 Mass Ave. It's about probably less than a block away than the proposed location. I appreciate everyone's testimony and hearing stories about how cannabis can help them. I think it's great that they've found a path for the help they're looking for or need, and that it's changed lives in a positive way. That's amazing. And I'm all for. Someone said that certain companies are out for making a buck. I don't know why you'd open a store if you're not out to make a buck. But I do wonder about some of the things that were stated during the proposal. There's I think some small exaggerations, like lots of empty storefronts and lots of businesses where their patrons, while they're waiting for their order, will actually go patronize. I think there's a Dunkin' Donuts across the street, a flower shop, a 7-Eleven, and a relatively new Chinese place within immediate proximity. I'm not sure what the Alexandria Hotel has to do with the proposal here, but that was brought up as something that this would be. I think the proprietor, mentioned that it was would be something like helping there'd be some kind of benefit to the Alexandria by this being here. I don't see the connection. I also would like to go back to the sort of what I saw were exaggerations. If you put into Apple Maps the distance of the Hurley School to 605, and the edge of the property, which I think is how the commission considers these types of things. It's, I think, more like 500 feet, not 1,000, because the school campus is built out towards Mass Ave. If you put in the proper address, it would be about a block away, adding about 250 feet. And I just looked this up while this was being discussed. I'm not kind of drilling down and looking at this and spending my days and nights researching this necessarily. But I think also something that came up very lightly was the Victory House, which is quite literally across the street. And I hope that the commission would take into consideration the Victory House is a sober house or recovery home for addiction treatment facility. If you look at the Victory House's website, and that literally is across the street. I bring that up in part because a friend has a sibling who recently.
Hi, Ben, that is your 2 minutes. If you would like to submit additional testimony, please submit it to cannabisboard@boston.gov. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Michael Zolotinsky.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Zolotnitsky. I live at 94 Hammond Street at Roseberry Crossing, which is about 7 minutes walking from the proposed dispensary. I also know Ruben and the whole crew for a very long time, and I know how dedicated they are, not just to the business, but to the cause of bringing cannabis, because cannabis is a very powerful force that is changing life and it's affecting quality of life. So I'm here to testify for the positive effects and for the opening of this location. First and foremost, it's the crew and the people that are working, and their dedication is boundless, and it has been for a very, very long time, since the very beginning. And second of all, I think the benefits that this location is going to bring are going to be immense. First of all, the security to the neighborhood is being needed because of everything that's happening in the neighborhood. And I think this is going to be a huge, huge addition and help to everybody. Second of all, the jobs that it's going to bring, it's going to help a lot of local people, and also going to bring a lot of traffic to the neighborhood, positive traffic, and bring the value of the neighborhood up. So I think this is a very, very good idea for everybody to have this location open, especially because it's also going to be in collaboration with Greentown, Beantown, which not only focused, as I said, it's not only going to be focused on the business. It's the whole crew and everyone involved is focused on raising the quality of life for everyone involved. And the IRVA's motto since the beginning has been patience over profit.
All right, Michael, that's your 2 minutes. Thank you.
All right, next up is Mitch Rosenfeld.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
My name is Mitch Rosenfield. I live at 16 Fairview Street in Roslindale, Mass. I'd just like to come out in support of this project. I've known Ruben for about 5 years now and worked together closely with him. He's provided cannabinoids and CBD products throughout the mass cannabis industry for a long time now. A lot of people know him. He's a very responsible, upstanding, and conscientious person to be taking over this store. I went through a similar situation here. I have a dispensary in Roslindale, and went through these exact same questions. So, people had all these concerns about lines and about people smoking outside and about all these things. We've been open for about 3 months now and have experienced none of that. And what we have experienced is businesses next door coming over and thanking me for bringing more people to the area. We took a place that had been, run down for the last 40 years and turned it into a brand new space. We suddenly have a block that's seen a lot more activity. I lived actually a block away from where Ruben's dispensary is back in 2000, and remember the rundown shop that was there, and it's been sort of that way. And the South End's obviously made some some changes since then, but having that activity and those, you're talking, 1 to 300 people a day or something, these things bring in. It's like another coffee shop, but it's money. These people come in with income, they come to the area. It's been nothing but a benefit to this area. And it's amazing to have a local resident with a vested interest in the property there to be an owner. You're not dealing with an out-of-state corporation who's taking money out of your neighborhood to another state. You're keeping your dollars local. That's the most important thing there is. And I think this is a perfect project and the perfect person to be doing it over there. And that's it.
Thank you. Next is Jessica Torres. Okay, moving on, Rahul Patel.
Thank you. I'm just going to start a timer. So my name is Rahul, 1400 Gorham Street, Lowell, Massachusetts. We heard a lot of testimony on, the business side of things, but I wanted to speak a little bit deeper about Ruben and Derek. I've not only known them for several years on a professional and business professional level, but on a personal level as well. Both those individuals have showed a lot of integrity when being in the cannabis industry. What they say is what they set out to do. As far as the opportunity that's there for the community, I think it is a great opportunity for the community to have a business that is willing to work with the community to do help cleanups and make that area safe for people to kind of walk around and do their thing. I was there visiting Derek, and we had a local person come in with their dogs just to check out how everything's going. And that individual mentioned that, hey, I can't walk through the park with my dogs, and Derek ended up saying, hey, we just went out there this morning, picked up all the needles, so you should be really good to go. So having a business and business owners that will go out and go the extra mile is super important in a community, and is pointing in the right direction of how businesses should operate within communities that have a heavy impact from individuals outside, right? That being said, I am in support of not only 605, the dispensary, but the operators that are behind this dispensary, and as far as the individuals that they are. Thank you for the time, guys.
Okay, thank you. Next is Ida Gassesi.
Yes, hello. I'm Eda. I live at 91 Westland Avenue. I'm a graduate student at Northeastern University, and I also did my undergrad here. So I've been around the area for a while now. I believe this is a great spot for a dispensary. The others are too far away from me to walk, and this location would be very convenient. So I really do highly support this project. Thank you.
And thank you. Next is Rashid Feliciano Gonzalez. Okay, moving on. Elizabeth Corcoran Hunt. Next is Angie Brutus.
No, she's District 7.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, Noelle Solent. Okay, Misty Carey. John Napoli.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I couldn't get it off mute. Misty Carey, 36 John Woods Road, Roslindale. Hi. I just want to speak in favor, give you a brief little story. I had hip surgery in 2007, I was overprescribed opioids. I became addicted to them, and I had an extremely hard time getting off of them. And because of cannabis, my life was saved, and I am a mother, and it put me back into my children's lives where I could be a participating mother. And I have seen cannabis save so many people's lives just like mine. So I'm absolutely in support of this. And like everyone has said, this team is phenomenal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Erica Wright.
Hi guys. I just wanted to show up again. My name is Erica Wright. I currently, my address is 120 Whitwell Street in Quincy, Massachusetts. But previous to this location, I lived at 1670 Washington Street, which is around the corner, about maybe 5-minute walk. I think that this location for a dispensary is ideal for a few reasons. One, to everyone's point, cannabinoids versus opioids. There's arguments to show the efficacy of decreasing opioid use when cannabis is in the area readily available. And I think it is important to show a location where you can get safe, tested, accessible cannabis, not just any kind of weed off the street. It's reliable and safe. Second, I do want to speak to the point of character behind the group here. So I've been in the industry for about 10 years, the cannabis industry, and I'm a part owner at a company called Ration Cannabis, and we give back a portion of our proceeds to veterans. And both Derek and Ruben have been supporters in this cannabis business that I'm a part of. Ruben's manufacturing team offers input materials for us to help make the product. And then Derek at his previous locations helped distribute it out via retail locations. So they have been not only supporting their community, but other veteran communities through partnership, such as Ration Cannabis. In addition to this, I think that the security that they are going to outline is great. They're going to have more than one personnel who's over the age of 21 to help make sure that diversion is not an issue. So I think that the character and the team.
Erica, that is your 2 minutes.
Is it John Napoli? I think I heard my name earlier.
Yep, John, you can go.
Hey, yeah, my name's Jonathan Napoli. I'm over at 10 William Street in Boston, Mass, around the corner, where I've been for about 25 years, and was the former member of the Nubian Square Neighborhood Initiative and Association, and also the Roxbury Project Review Committee. And yes, we have a lot of problems between Massachusetts Avenue and Melniacas and into Nubian Square. None of which are caused by cannabis and cannabis stores. And in fact, really the solution to this activity, unwanted activity, is to make this neighborhood a vibrant, more vibrant place for businesses like this. Locally run, responsive owners are exactly what we want. We want the kind of clientele that these cannabis stores bring in, and other stores, like that. We just want to welcome businesses that are responsive to the community into our community that needs businesses like this. And it's sad to see our city councilor, who I'm in her district. I have no idea why she would oppose this in our district. We badly need economic activity here. We know the statistics about the poverty rates and everything else, and for her to come out here and testify against her own district after what she has done is, in my mind, just completely out of line.
Please.
Yeah, well, she okay. I think the proposal is a great proposal, and anyone to come out against it is misguided and is not a friend of our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Leslie Pasquale.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Lovely Pasquale of 9 Hall Place in Quincy, and I'm here to express my full support for the IRVA team. They're a stellar group. I've known Ruben and Derek for years through the cannabis industry, and they have always been kind and respectful. They have a proven track record of producing great quality CBD products. I personally use IRVA topicals for marathon training, and I use them to help my 88-year-old grandma with her arthritis as well. As someone familiar with their work, I'm excited to see their continued success and the positive impact that they're going to bring to the South End. I urge you to approve their application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Kimberly Napoli.
I'm all set.
Right. And Drew Ledbetter.
Hello, I'm back. Good afternoon again, members of the board. My name is Drew Ledbetter. Our address is 63 Pond Street, Sharon, Massachusetts. I'm here to express my unwavering support for IRVA and their incredible team, Derek and Ruben. I've known Derek and Ruben for many years, and from the moment we met, we connected deeply through our shared commitment for the whole plant medicine. They are pioneers in bridging the gap between the benefits of hemp-based cannabis product and cannabis-based products, creating innovative solutions that truly serve the community. Derek and Ruben are not only excellent businessmen, but also exceptional educators and advocates. I've had the privilege of working on successful projects with them and sharing stages at industry events where we've educated colleagues and hosted community wellness initiatives. On a personal note, when I was introducing my mother to the plant, Ruben's products helped me transition her from traditional sleeping pills to a CBD tincture. And that is a moment that changed her life and improved her quality of life. For that, I'm always deeply grateful. IRVA's dedication to innovation, education, and wellness makes them an invaluable asset to the industry and to the community. I'm here to show my strong support and enthusiastic support for that team. Thank you.
Right, thank you. And I see that Ron Galome has his hand raised if you would like to go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Ron Gollum, address 9 Seawall Street, Somerville, Massachusetts. 31-year-old young adult living in blissful recovery right now. Definitely no stranger to addiction or my family. I've gained 2 angels due to this disease, my sister and my father. Rest in peace. I've been trying this recovery thing since I was 18, in and out of countless treatment centers, and more pain, agony, blood, sweat, and tears than I care to remember. Through these treatment centers, I've tried just about everything: Suboxone, methadone, AANA, all of which were helpful, other than Suboxone and methadone, which I believe left everlasting effects to my, brain there. So this time I went to a treatment center, finally gained the will to live. After treatment, I consulted my PCP about natural remedies after failed attempts of pharmaceutical drugs. He recommended me to Ruben. And ever since then, I went looking for relief or symptoms that have led me back to addiction. And honestly, it opened a door of healing for me. I now use cannabis in my everyday life. I'm 2.5 years sober today. It's been the longest period of sobriety that I've had and the happiest time that I've had in my entire life. I think anybody who can move into a community, create revenue, offer education on healing that can help and that can be a tool used to a pathway to recovery is amazing. I contact Ruben on a weekly basis with different concerns that I'm having, such as sleeplessness, anxiety, depression, and he's able to pinpoint some of these things and give me a medicine that definitely helps me. So, God bless, and I hope that we can help heal this world of this terrible pandemic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I see, Noel, that you have your hand raised. If you can keep it to 2 minutes, you can give your testimony.
Yes, thank you so much to the board. My name is Noelle Salen. I'm a physician at Boston Medical Center, and I'm a neighbor to this proposal at 521 Shawmut Avenue. Similar to the neighbors that have actually testified on this, we are in opposition to this. And one of the main things is really about the practicality of this particular space. Mass Ave is a very busy corner, and this group actually told the neighborhood association that they're expecting about $50,000 in business per week based on $50 per, item sold, that's a huge volume of 500 to 1,000 people that it's hard to imagine that's all going to be foot traffic. And the proposal really doesn't have parking or, they're asking for a 10-minute space and they're going to have delivery out of a very small area on a very busy corner. I'd like to echo also the person that spoke about the school zone. We have also Googled it, and it's certainly very close to the boundary. It's with just over 500 feet, not 1,000, from the Hurley School property. And it's within the school zone, so much so that the schools place a parking or a crossing guard at the actual cross section where this is. So if you add and extrapolate both the children walking by with the crossing guard there and the level of traffic and potential foot traffic there, we're very concerned about that. I hope as well that this group that's proposing that they want to be good neighbors and are reaching out will heed the neighborhood associations that are all in opposition, and also their own building where it sounds like there's not necessarily the most neighborly interaction happening, because that's very important to this as well.
Okay, thank you. And Jasmine, that's everyone who has signed up.
All right, is there anyone else that would like to provide testimony that has not spoken already? All right. Danny, you have your hand raised.
Yes, so I'd just like to speak on behalf of Ruben and Derek.
Can you state your address, please?
Yeah, sorry, 183 Vernon Street, Norwood, Mass. Grew up in Nonantum, little neighborhood in Newton. My grandfather started a nonprofit back 30 some odd years ago, and it's still in running condition. Beantown Greentown was going to be a grow up at one point, and that all fell through with licensing. So we found a different option, a different route. With my background as a pain management functioning type person every day with pills and other drugs and alcohol. Back in 2019, I was in a bad state of life, and I met my wife, and 5 years later, here I am in this huge community with all these amazing people, and just these three guys alone, Andrew Muddy, Ruben, and Derek, have really put a lot of purpose in my life and created a great spark inside of me again to see that maybe I can help this community like my grandfather helped his community and is still helping his community, as my uncles and aunts still run their nonprofit over there in Nonantum and help schools and all types of other things that they're doing over there. So I'm hoping I can do that there, as I spent so much time, blood, sweat, and tears in that shop trying to make it look beautiful for everybody in that neighborhood. And I just hope that we can make this work and we can change and heal everybody in that area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dan. Kim, you have your hand raised.
Yes, sorry. I did want to just jump in. My address is 9 Spruce Lane, Sudbury. I'm a homeowner at 10 William Street. Was part of the Roxbury Strategic Master Plan Oversight Committee. I've been an appointed member of the Cannabis Advisory Board since Governor Baker appointed me in 2017 as his expert in minority business development. I was the director of outreach for the campaign to legalize cannabis in Massachusetts in 2016. Long story short, I've been around. I wanted to just clarify that with respect to the distance from the school, the number that was given is related to the measurement provided by the board. As far as the guideline goes, that is the shortest distance from the center of the marijuana establishment to the front door that does not go through an impermeable barrier. So as the board knows, there's a specific regulation and citation as to the way that that distance is calculated, and that's what the number given was based on. And I also wanted to add, just as it relates to the ownership of the building at 605 in the neighborhood, that Ruben is an owner and they have a certain number of votes as well that factors into it. So I don't know that it's clear to the board how that actually breaks out, but their interest and obviously they're in support of their project, that should factor into it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any Max? Has his hand raised?
Hey, my name is Max Sarowski. I'd just like to, demonstrate my full support for this, not only this location, but for Ruben and Derek as a whole, I've recently taken on a part as chief operating officer for the company, but previous to that, working in the industry for 8 years, and I've seen a diverse and really populated industry across the country, and personally underwent at 15 a life-threatening surgery that left me reliant on opiates. And after losing my mother at 19, I also got back into that pit. So this industry has not only provided me with an avenue and a career, and it supported me for the past 8 years. And last year, Ruben has reached out to me and provided me with this opportunity um, to contribute to his business and to the business as a whole. And I just speak to his character and to Ruben and Derek's character as people, as personally knowing them. It's just I really want to just portray that, and as much as I possibly can contribute to the security of that facility and to the operational standards that they abide by. So just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to provide testimony?
I'm not sure how to raise my hand, but can I clarify some things with
Briefly, yes.
I found the breakdown of the ownership of 605. It's clearly a big issue. And I wanted to start that I have nothing against Joan. Joan has opposed from the beginning, and that's fine. There's been difference of opinion. She's on the board of my building. That's the only reason that I have her number, and I've been trying to contact her, but she was told that she shouldn't meet with me. It's opposition with
Okay, I can.
but the rest of the building is 36.9% me. Obviously, I'm in support. Donna McKay is 7.5. She lives there and is in support. You have a letter from her. Michael St. Germain and Emily St. Germain are 7.5 as well, and they have a letter of support in.
Are
Frank
you reading the email you sent earlier
Yes.
this morning? Okay, the board has that. You just sent it this morning, so didn't get a chance to look at it, but we have that email, so they can read it after to get the clarification. Is there anything additional you wanted to add, or were you just reading the email?
Just that I'm sorry that Joan has come consistently and attacked my character. I have nothing against her. Even after all this, we're still neighbors, and I'm gonna.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to provide testimony that hasn't spoken and is not a part of the team? All right, seeing no one, the board will take this matter under advisement. Those are all the matters before the board today. The board's voting meeting will take place next Wednesday, December 18th at 1 p.m. The instructions on how to join that meeting will be on our website tomorrow. Again, the record will be kept open until next Tuesday, December 17th at 5 p.m. So anyone else that wants to provide any additional testimony, please submit by next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Thank you all for attending this meeting and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.